can you imagine getting an offer of $1 billion? MrBeast, the one and only, got to have a taste of that dream, but he didn't seem interested. He turned down an insane amount of money that would have made him one of the richest people in the world, but he had many reasons for doing so. So now, in this video, we're going to talk about why MrBeast wasn't ready to take up that offer. First off, MrBeast was offered $1 billion, but he turned it down. Jimmy Donaldson, who we all know by the name MrBeast on YouTube, said he was offered $1 billion to take over his content empire, which includes his main channel with more than 100 million subscribers. But can you believe that he turned down that offer? During an appearance on the Flagrant podcast on September 27th, co-host Andrew Schulz said that he was shocked that Davidson wasn't offered the craziest check in history for his content, to which Donaldson replied that he has received a pretty crazy offer. He mentioned that there were people who would pay $1 billion if they could own his kingdom. He confirmed that there weren't any official term sheets as he decided not to go any further with it, but there definitely was an offer, and that too with an insane amount. The 24-year-old said he couldn't reveal much about who made the offer or where it came from, but it was legitimate. Not just this, he also didn't fail to mention that there have been quite a few people interested in buying his channel, people who could actually afford it. Foreign language channels with custom dubbing, a whole food chain called MrBeast Burger, and even his own chocolate brand called Feastables. His team has built a huge business that keeps getting bigger, and we can tell that it's worth a lot of money, but we don't think any of us thought it was this much. So it's really not surprising that investors were interested and willing to pay a lot of money for it. Not to mention Donaldson's possible plans for the future. The co-hosts of Flagrant asked Donaldson if he had a price in mind for his channel and related businesses, if he wanted to sell them in the future. He replied by saying it was so crazy to even think about selling his channels because he's exactly where he wants to be, and he wouldn't want to give that up at all, and he wasn't sure if he'd be too excited about working for his own channel. MrBeast isn't looking to sell right now, but he's got a higher price in mind for a deal that could happen in the future, maybe $10 billion, or it could even go up to $20 billion. He would feel better about handing over the keys to his kingdom if something like that happened. He believes that his empire could be worth a lot more in the long run. He explained further by giving an example of him owning a mobile game company and 100 million people playing it, or if he had 1,000 physical Beast Burgers and Feastables in 20,000 stores, it would probably cost up to like $10 billion or $20 billion. So it's understandable why he believes his empire still has a lot of potential to grow and expand. We also got to know how much money his YouTube business brought in. He said the numbers went up to $20 billion, which made the host, Akash Singh, joke that his net worth might end up being more than WhatsApp. Up next, what would have happened if MrBeast had taken up that offer? Let's think for a moment if MrBeast had actually been one to take up the investors on that offer. There's no doubt it would have made him the youngest self-made billionaire after Kylie Jenner. That is, if he'd chosen to sell his empire to that person. This also means that he would have joined the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Tiger Woods, and LeBron James in the media, even though his gaming channel's the only reason why he's considered an esports player at all. So accepting the offer would have also made him the only esports billionaire in the world. Now that's something we'd all kill to have. This really shows how MrBeast thinks and that he isn't motivated by money, but by having fun with his content and channel, since he turned down a very interesting offer. Notably, it's also worth mentioning that with the money he makes from his YouTube channel and views, it won't be long before he becomes a billionaire, and that too a very generous one. Lastly, MrBeast isn't exactly having a hard time making money. Despite being offered $1 billion, MrBeast is still one of the best paid YouTube creators. Forbes says that he has moved to the top of their list of the highest paid YouTube stars in 2021. He made a huge amount of $54 million from 10 billion views. Forbes also mentioned that with this income, he would be in the top 40 of their list of the world's highest paid celebrities in 2020. With that in mind, he doesn't seem to need that kind of quick way to become a billionaire. In the past year, the man worked on a lot of big projects, and one of them was recreating the Netflix hit Squid Game on his channel. In December 2020, Donaldson opened MrBeast Burger, a restaurant brand that only delivers. In 3 months, MrBeast Burger sold more than 1 million sandwiches. At the beginning of September 2022, MrBeast Burger opened its first real restaurant in East Rutherford, New Jersey, at the American Dream Mall. The opening of MrBeast Burger's restaurant was attended by thousands of people, and not to mention the fact that he gave away a real island when he reached 100 million subscribers. It looks like he's pretty happy with his choice. Now moving on to other news. First off, MrBeast has plans of running for president based on his other podcast with Joe Rogan. Comedian Akash Singh asked MrBeast about his plan to become president of the United States in the podcast. MrBeast told him that he would love to be president of the country. The 24-year-old YouTuber said that he would be open to the idea of running for president of the United States, but he has a very different view of how he would serve his country. He stated that he might give up all of his money and then run for president, and his only condition was that before doing so, he'd give away all of his money. He claimed that no one would be able to buy him even if he was a billionaire, since he would just give all of his money away, so he'd have $0 in his bank account. He wants people to vote for him without considering his net worth, which is honestly a pretty good way of campaigning. Notably, MrBeast also claimed that he might not worry about the lobbyists because he would have nothing to lose. Up next, Tyler 1 makes fun of Evil Genius's loss to Fnatic in the World's 2022 play-in. Evil Geniuses lost their first World's 2022 match in a pretty devastating way to the European team Fnatic. The LCS team wants to get past the play-ins and compete for the title at the Worlds for the first time. They'll have to beat a lot of tough opponents in the first round, and unfortunately, they lost big in the first game. On September 29th, Tyler went live as EG lost to Fnatic in the first round in a match that didn't even last 30 minutes. The streamer criticized EG's draft, saying that they couldn't play up front. He really wasn't happy with how EG played or how they picked their team. In fact, he got so bored while watching the game that just a few minutes later, he fell asleep on his couch during the broadcast, while still saying that streaming is the hardest job on the planet. So even though EG isn't out of the tournament, they'll need to step it up if they want to get past the play-ins and earn Tyler 1's respect. Finally, Logan Paul talks about his near-death experience involving his girlfriend, Nina Agdal. In an interview, famous YouTuber and boxer Logan Paul mentioned that he recently went on a razor ride with his girlfriend, Nina Agdal. Agdal had previously said that she was worried about riding in a razor and had also told him to not turn the ride upside down. But sadly, Paul wasn't able to keep his promise. The two got into an accident just minutes after he said what would happen. He stated that it had been a while since he'd driven a razor, and that the road had changed in a way he didn't understand. He also mentioned that, while they were flipping, he knew it was going to end up badly, since he had literally just told his girlfriend that nothing would happen. Thankfully, the harness and roll cages on the razor kept the two from getting hurt badly. That's a wrap for this video. How do you feel after finding out MrBeast rejected $1 billion check for his empire? Do you think it was the right decision? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.